God is always new. A lot of times when we think about God, we think of some old guy that's been around a long time, but we have to remember that God is always, always, always love, just generating new ideas, new thoughts, new insights, new emotions, new opportunities. And we who confess our belief in a God who is very active in our lives, who loves us personally, have to sometimes ask ourselves the question, how am I doing? And this is a wonderful time for us to take a look at that, to see, are we as disciples of Christ following His mission for us? Remember, even though we may feel secure in some of the places where we worship, in our own personal history as Catholics, that actually we're not the ones that created the church. We're not the ones that created our mission. It is Jesus that has called us each by name, asked us to be His disciples in the world, to tell the good news of a God that is personally present to us, not only to love us, but to save us from all those powers that work against us. Sometimes, to tell you the truth, the things we have get in the way, and we make monuments of them because we've gotten so used to them, the way we've always done things. How often have you heard, we've always done it this way? And many of us identify sometimes more with our individual parishes or churches than we do with their mission, our mission, which is to spread the gospel to all whom we meet. So we have to ask ourselves, how best can we do that? And that means we start with an evaluation of where we are and who's here. For example, in every single parish, have we asked ourselves the question, who's here? When we think of who's here, do we think only of those who maybe we meet in church on Sundays? Only those who are on the parish staff? And in many cases, perhaps only filling out 1/3 of the space that we have to accommodate, that was the churches were built for. But who's around us? How many people are in our community that we probably don't even know, that have lives, that may be at times very, very difficult lives, that have challenges, that have brokenness, that have sinful patterns? Our mission is to go out from our comfort zone and to reach out to those in the margins and to bring them right to the center. So what we're going to be doing throughout our diocese in the many months ahead is asking ourselves these questions. Try to get to know a little better who it is that we have in our communities. What are those needs? Where is the brokenness? And to focus on our mission to bring the good news of God's love and God's healing grace to them. If that means we have to make some changes in our structures, if it even means that we have to say goodbye to a building that has been very much a part of our lives, our own church, it may amount to that. That's a decision we're going to have, and they're going to be very difficult. It won't be easy. Change is always difficult. We do that anytime we lose a person in our lives that we depend upon very much, that we loved. We sometimes have to work 2 jobs in order to be able to support a family because of challenges that are thrown against us. Many of you know those challenges. Grandparents who have had to take the role of parents because of difficulties in their grandchildren's lives, maybe paying for their tuition. So many people that have made sacrifices that have helped us to continue to grow. But the point that I want to make most important is that whatever we do, God is with us. We are never alone. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in your midst. And wherever it is that we gather, whether it's in a familiar church that we've been used to all of our lives, whether it's the church next door, whether it's in some other community. Many of us have had to make moves in our lives because of jobs closing down or because of health challenges in our lives. We've all had to deal with those things. And as God's people, we have to be the ones that show the way, not to be afraid of facing the reality of what our actual challenges are. I like to speak of these things as kind of ecological challenges. Finances. A lot of times we hear people say, oh, the church is just interested in money. The reality is that we need to be able to support our mission financially and the buildings which we feel we need in order to help us to find a place to worship. But we have to be able to pay for it. We have to be able to repair them. And sometimes those things are beyond our ability financially to sustain. So we're going to be having conversations about what we call sustainability. What are our resources? What can we do with them? What can we do without in order that our mission may be clearer and stronger? And all of these questions, I'm not giving you the answers right now because I don't have them, but I want you to engage with me in looking at them, facing our challenges, looking at our future, prioritizing what is most important. And if we're going to follow Jesus' example, something he always did, it's going to be reaching out to the poorest and the most broken and the most vulnerable around us. Jesus always made it his mission to be distracted even by the needs of those who most needed his love and his grace. My prayer is that all of us may focus on what Jesus has asked us to do, to be his disciples in the world he loves, and to be willing to let go of whatever it is we hold on to that stands in the way, so that we may fully be responsive to his call and truly be his disciples.